And we are live.
Yun, good afternoon. Uy, we have na.
Good afternoon. Si Mr. Vincent Santos is watching. Si Levis Orhil is also watching.
Paano ko nakikita yun, Mr. Chair?
Hola, Carlos. Buenas tardes.
Hi, Carlos.
¿Qué tal, eh? ¿Todo bien? So, para malaman natin kung ma-shoutout natin yung location nyo. Muy bien, Carlos. Si Emeline. Good afternoon, Miss Emeline. Magandang hapon. Si Carlos is our partner from Nokia also, no? Mr. Dams Acosta. Carlos, ¿dónde estás? ¿En casa?
Uy, si Lorenzo anda. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lawrence. Si Mr. Bobby Joaquin is also watching. Afternoon. Good afternoon, Vice Chair.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Mia.
Hi, Vice Chair.
Parang bagong labas ka ng salon, ah.
Ikaw ba yung guest speaker namin today, Vice Chair?
I'm sane today.
Generous, good afternoon. Wala pa yung ating guest speaker.
Baga pa naman, Mr. Chair.
Oo nga. Pero very interesting ang topic natin ngayon kasi mag-i-introduce na naman ng bagong innovation nito si tong guest speaker natin today.
Yeah. XDR is the in thing today. Everybody talks about it.
Mr. Frederick Gonda, magandang hapon sa iyo, brother. CJ, pasensya na sa boses. Parang nalamigan ng alak. Nalasing ka ba, Vice Chair?
Ay, nako.
Ha?
Pagdating ko, went straight to bed.
Marvin, magandang hapon. Si Carmela.
Yan ba si Carmela?
Ang kulit. Hoy, suot mo yung jacket mo, ah. Galing, ah.
Pineflex ko, Mr. Chair.
Well, actually, maganda yung design.
Oh, maganda nga.
Really impressed with yung quality ng Ganda. Kahit yung mga partners natin, tech partners, gustong-gusto nila. Yung jacket.
NCR chapter, thank you.
Magaling yung paggagawa ng
Si Mr. Carlos. Mr. Press. Mr.
Oh, nandyan. Nandyan si, kaibigan natin si Mr. Carlos.
Mukhang namimiss na natin to, si Mr. Carlos.
Hindi na natin nakalaro. Busy din yata.
Si Amy.
Ang ano naman ngayon, yung cyber insurance.
Oo nga. Very...
Grabe, yung, yung cyber insurance, tumaas yung premium, lumiit yung coverage. Dahil sa laki nung mga
risk.
hindi, yung mga
incidents in the past which they covered.
tapos yung claims.
Claims.
So, Miss May, good afternoon. Mga Kapix Pro, good afternoon din sa'yo. Mr. Harold Biggs is also watching. Ano bang meron sa Friday na to?
Yung sinabi mo kanina, Mr. Chair, interest rate. Sabi kasi ni Mr. Chair kanina, the interest rate has gone up, di ba? Pero sabi ko nga, even when the economy goes down, di ba, there's still a big chance that the cybersecurity market will remain intact. And I think we have...
I think the more that we need to fortify cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Because many more will add to the threat actors list. Mr. Wendell, maayong hapon. Good afternoon. Wala ka kahapon.
Nako, si Mr. Wendell.
Yang.
Kasama ko sa flight ko eh.
Oo. Mr. Ken is also watching. Chris Branzuela is also watching. Mr. Justin. Ito, nakuha na niya yata yung ID niya, si Justin. Okay. Yan na si Mr. CK. Mr. Jim. Good afternoon, Jules. Jim, good afternoon.
Hey, Mauro and Joe. Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Friday evening. What can we complain?
You bet.
Are you in Singapore?
Yes. I'm in Singapore.
Your home base today.
Yep.
So, for time check, it's already 4:58. And as mentioned earlier to our viewers for this afternoon, we're going to talk about Security Operations Center and the future of SOC, which is XDR. In our environment, having a Security Operations Center continuously improving really helps us in predicting, preventing, detecting, and responding to cyber attacks. And we are excited to hear about this future of SOC lecture of Mr. Chim, which he will be introduced by VP Mia in a while. So stay tuned, and if you have questions, please do ask. As Mr. Chim here will not be with us for the rest of the day. He will only be with us for at least 1 hour. So if you have questions, and please send them through. to the chat box. So we have here our Vice Chair. Oh, good afternoon, Vice Chair.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
And of
Dr.
course, our
Mia.
ever beautiful Vice President for Training and Events, Miss Mia Merables.
Good afternoon.
Okay, VP Mia, the floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Na-miss ko to. I wasn't here last weekend. So, good afternoon. And it's nice to see everyone again. Well, at least you can see us. Okay, so as Mr. Chair mentioned earlier, our topic for today is all about the SOC of the future, or XDR. And cybersecurity, as we all know, should always be and has been a top priority for every organization. Am I right? Now, the challenge is that the attack surface is really expanding and the threat landscape is adapting so quickly that it is increasingly difficult to keep up with the sheer volume of threats. And so we have Chim today who will talk about the SOC of the future to help companies address these security challenges. So please send us your questions. But before that, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. We have CK Chim. CK, it's not your first time joining us, am I right?
Second time.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chim is with Cybereason. He was the former CISO from Dyson, where he held global responsibility on securing Dyson's IT, OT, and IoT operations to enable Dyson's future ambitions in connected and intelligent products. Prior to Dyson, Chim was the former CISO also at DHL Express and with global leadership responsibility to defend the resilience of DHL's logistic operations across 220 countries internationally. He has over 20 years of management experience spanning across technology, logistics, and oil and gas industries. He brings with him a wealth of pragmatic experience on transforming cybersecurity for global multinational organizations and with successful track records of delivering numbers of cybersecurity center of excellence together with the partnership from government agencies, technology partners, and academic institutions. So welcome back to our Kwentuhang Cybersecurity, CK. Over to you.
Yep. Thank you, Mia, for the kind introduction. So before we kickstart, let me try to share my screen. So Mia, maybe I need some permission to share my screen.
Yep, done.
Okay, good. Just let me know if you can see my screen right now.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Very powerful PowerPoint.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Yep, it is thanks for the kind introduction from Mia and also Angel for the good kickoff. So it is nice to meet all of you here virtually. So I'm the field CISO for Cybereason, covering the Asia Pacific and Japan region. Today, I'm excited to talk about the SOC of the future in this section. And we all know cyber threats are getting complex and sophisticated to aim for successful attack. And similarly, at the defender side, security vendors like Cybereason are also evolving as well around a new technology, the extended detection and response. So in short form, we call it XDR. So, well, what is XDR? How is it different? And can it actually stop today's advanced malicious operation? I'm going to share with you Cybereason evolution to XDR, how we got here, why Cybereason is today, and a look toward the future of our XDR capability. A collaboration between Cybereason and Google partner to deliver the SOC of the future. So in Cybereason, we are proudly calling ourselves as the defenders and working together with our customer partner to form a trusted ecosystem to defend forward against the adversary. Our vision and mission are to protect people and information in the new and open connected world, and to reverse the adversary advantage by empowering the defender with ingenuity and technology to end cyber attack. And to defend today's digital operation, we must first put our mind inside the head of our adversary for defending with offensive mindset. Our vision and mission focus our developer and security expert on the capability that provide a deep understanding of how advanced attackers think and what it takes to create an effective attack. So Cybereason embedded this capability into our product and services to empower the defender like yourself to meet these challenges together against the adversary. So let's start with the big picture. Today, our world is shifting rapidly from what we know in the last 20 years. With globalization, business operations are everywhere. And with the COVID-19 pandemic, right, employees are working remotely as well across different locations. And with the digitalization, the technology and data are dispersed at different places and locations. The operations are no longer running in a local area network. And for many companies, mission critical operations are actually running over internet and hosted in the cloud. And endpoint is also moving up from the traditional laptop and server into mobile devices, connected sensor, and intelligent product. And zero trust is also a very important topic, and it is shifting beyond network parameter and endpoint and focusing more on the user identity, the workspace, application container, and also the cloud workload. And from an attacker perspective, they are also changing to exploit the new world in order to gain adversary advantage over the defender. With the war in Ukraine and also the geopolitical conflict between US and its sanctioned country, malicious operations are accelerated and difficult to attribute the source of attack. So for example, nation-state threat actors deploy ransomware to achieve their objective, where the cyber criminal also use the TTP from the nation-state actor to cover their trail of cyber criminal activity. We expect the attack will be more brutal than ever, and the cross-boundary attack seems easily with the collaboration of the underground cyber criminal ecosystem. And there is no limit to type of organization attack. Everyone can be a victim, either via targeted attack or part of the collateral damage from supply chain attack. Attacker is no longer targeting an asset or a server or an endpoint, but with overall aim to disrupt the business reputation and also their critical operation. With the underground ransomware operation, for example, ransomware as a service, it is an easy monetization for cyber criminal. And if you are really following the recent fall of the cryptocurrency, we expect it may accelerate more cyber attack in order to cover the loss of their Bitcoin value. And if you think attacking is difficult, SolarWinds and Kaseya disrupted the supply chain in 2021. And Log4j has burned the internet since 2022. And the ransomware operation have increased over 150% based on the recent ransomware research conducted by Cybereason. So how defenders must respond from this evolving threat landscape? They are more zero-day than we can ever patch, and no organization can assure 100% patch compliance. And we think the OA doesn't work anymore to protect the organization effectively. Therefore, the defender must respond with higher speed and the precision of the detection with an operational centric approach, because chasing alert after alert is a dead end unless you can truly triage everything deeply, which is humanly impossible if we are looking at the planetary scale of data. And don't forget about the cyber talent shortage, together with the technology and human capital cost as part of the overall equation. So based on this learning, how do we craft out a better way to defend forward when good is no longer good enough to stop cyber attack? In Cybereason, we have adopted and are promoting defend forward cybersecurity strategy originated from the US Department of Defense. It means defending with an offensive mindset, proactively disrupting or stopping malicious cyber activity via persistent operation and creating higher costs for the cyber adversary. The approach is to deter malicious campaign, defend our trusted and resilient critical operation, and more importantly, moving step ahead to disrupt and defeat the ongoing malicious adversary operation in the battlefield. Our goal is to make it expensive for the adversary, first, to launch a successful attack. And second, we want to make it dangerous for adversary and bring them to justice with the strong forensic capability and the partnership with law enforcement. And last but not least, we want to make all the cyber attack worthless for the adversary by taking proactive steps to protect and defend organization from cyber breach. It is very important to understand what are needed to deliver the SOC of the future before we jump into technical solution. First, we must understand the evolution of the attack environment. And everyone talk about cybersecurity risk in the context of the expansion of the attack surface. But no one really stepped back and put it in perspective. Most people took little notice on how much technology has washed over us since the dawn of the new millennium. You can see it when you look at a timeline in 7-year interval. I think we all recognize the device proliferation over the last 2 decades and the major shift like 2G to 5G, and also the resolution of the parameter. And it is especially interesting to look at the way the data have grown since the last 7 years. We have grown from 1 exabyte of data in 2000 to 100 zettabyte today. The attack surface is massive. And we are thinking the adversary is taking the advantage. The enemy also have evolved from the script kiddie in 20s into a nation state attacker and ransomware cartel who aren't just taking aim at the country, but also the commercial enterprises. Technology had democratized the ability of the smaller nation or cyber criminal group to attack even the largest nation and companies, and often with impunity result. And we are literally experiencing, I call that the cyber Armageddon in today's threat landscape, if we are not able to level up our defense against the adversary. Second, the exponential need for cybersecurity create opportunity and risk for both attacker and defenders. With the large adoption and acceleration of digitalization, for example, mobility, 5G, connected IoT, OT devices, the cloud, automation, big data, and AI. Not only will the attack surface continue to expand, it will accelerate significantly from endpoint to connected intelligent devices, from enterprise network to the cloud, and basically to everywhere, both physically and virtually. The ongoing march of innovation on top of the innovation will literally change everyone's life and the fabric of our society as well, for both good and evil. And with the evolving cyber adversary and the escalating geopolitical cyber warfare we have observed recently, and we think without a commensurated improvement in the way how we defend ourselves, it is certainly for the evil to dominate the battlefield in cyberspace. And don't forget, we are also facing a huge workforce shortage and high attrition for cyber talent reported across all locations and industry to effectively defending the organization. So Cybereason is on 10 years of journey, starting with EDR. What have we learned so far? First, behavioral data collection is a must. The primary behavioral data cannot be reduced to a sum of alert with no context. We need to be looking at every single thing that is happening to see how benign story can become malicious. And second, endpoint can't be protected in isolation. We must protect it all and have flexibility to cover a wide range of systems we use, whether it's Windows, Mac, Linux, legacy OS, mobile devices, to the container and workload. And just like understanding the parent-child processes that we observe in EDR, we must also understand how endpoint interact with the broader environment and on any network. Third, prevent as much as possible. Cybereason started with identification of post-breach compromised behavior, but quickly we added in prevention, for example, NGAV, ransomware prevention and prediction on top of our EDR capability. Because when we can confirm activity as a non-malicious, we must block it quickly and with low impact to end user and machine. Now, looking beyond EDR into SIEM, a technology started 20 years ago to solve IT security and compliance problems, but may not necessarily solving the cyber defense challenges. And what we have learned so far, cloud native is a must. We have learned from many years of SIEM that storing data injection, enrichment, and analytics are critical to its value. Many SIEM solutions, even today, struggle at petabyte scale of data, whether it is hanging the search query, missing analytics, or incurring significant data retention costs before it will be able to deliver the cybersecurity value. Second, analytics need the right data. In order for defense to have success, there must be coordination with detection content and what data will be used for. We have come a long way in this field, but too many SIEM deployments are focused around what can be fed in terms of data and not how the data will be support and accelerate threat detection and response use cases. Next, automation is required for the SOC success. And all successful SIEM deployment have invested a response arm in order to take action on the insight provided by the SIEM platform. This could be a response workflow orchestrated by security and IT, or working with an MSSP partner or a soft technical platform. But without response, SIEM only is an alerting machine, which can feel like you buying a machine gun, but with no bullet loaded. Therefore, being able to tick the compliance box to ingest data for monitoring and response may not necessarily solving the defender challenges in stopping the advanced cyber attack. And let's deep dive into the intelligent-led cyber defense as part of the critical SOC capability. What we have done so far is, number one, intelligence must be relevant. We have learned from many threat intelligence sources or feeds that provide extended attack surface monitoring. However, there is a common challenge to bring this type of open source intelligence and make it relevant with the context of individual organization to make it actionable. And second, threat hunting needs big data platform. In order for threat hunting to return the desirable outcome, there must be a big data platform that stores all the attack surface information in order to find the potential intrusion or compromises that bypass the existing security measure. Being able to complete complex query within sub-second performance over the planetary scale of data is a critical capability for threat hunting and DFIR. Last but not least, predictive response is required to defend forward, to uncover signal of intrusion and compromised behavior at early stage, and to be able to predict the attacker next move is very important for SOC to counter defend the bad actor in the battlefield and make it more difficult and costly for the malicious operation. And this will deter either the bad actor to move somewhere else for easy target, or to enable the individual organization to compete with the bad actor in order to disrupt and defeat the malicious operation to ensure zero business impact. And we must improving the way we defend ourselves to achieve our mission to fight with the adversary. There are three types of module operandi's in the past 20 years. So first, in year 2000, we call that the phase of reaction centric. So there was no real defense model here. We hide behind a perimeter like firewall, and if we found a hole, we plug it off. The control was static. Normally, it's a yes or no gate, and all technology work in silo, and they didn't add value to one another from a defense perspective. Second, in 2010, we call that the phase of alert centric. And at this stage, we adapted so-called a defense in depth model as recommended by the NIST cybersecurity framework. And we put risk first and start to understand what was the value or impact, how vulnerable it might be against a certain threat, and develop dynamic control for each of the risk treatment. We then integrated this control together as a leverage to create an overview of our risk exposure, that including the realization that we could be breached, and we needed to alert ourselves in time in order to respond and recover. And however, moving away from prevention to detection and response, overwhelming the security operation. This model was no longer work effectively because the large volume of uncorrelated alert generated by SIEM or other silo security solution and the number of false positives produce something that we call alert fatigue culture. And this is a cultural shift where cyber defender become numb to incoming security alert, and to the point that they stop treating any of these alerts seriously because many of them are not actionable. And this is how significant security events get missed. So fast forward to today, right? We are in the 2020th century, the phase of operation centric. Today, risks have become more dynamic with the acceleration of digitalization. We need to be able to see multiple dimensions of our entire digital operation. What are our people doing with what data, using which application, and over what type of infrastructure? Our control must use AI and machine learning in order to spot the signal in the noise that an attack is underway. And we need to also rise above the battlefield and see every element and the entire attack story of the adversary malicious operation. We can only do that with data, lots and lots of data from multiple sources, and using the very best algorithm to stay ahead of the adversary. It is also a common challenge to be able to see the entire attack surface across the dispersed set of technology stack, from identity, endpoint, workspace, network, and to the cloud and beyond. It is very important for you to assess, do you have the visibility of the type of provider, infrastructure, and asset across your environment? Do you know how many root access, remote access, public exposed services, and known vulnerability within this environment? And more importantly, do you know how many malicious operations are targeted at them or has been compromised? And if in the worst case scenario, do you have the capability to triage and respond in time in order to defeat and disrupt this malicious operation. It is also crucial to understand why do adversaries have the advantage for SOC running with silo cybersecurity solution. So imagine when an advanced malicious operation has started. Most of the security event and telemetry reported by a diverse set of security solutions. It could be email security, endpoint security, firewall, workload protection, and your identity protection solution. And imagine all these telemetry are centralized into a SIEM platform. They will show up as false disparate alert, which can introduce by either poor correlation rule or human error, including missing a signal amid of a larger weight of alert, or missing user asset entity that were affected by the incident. And besides, running proper investigation take a lot of labor and your best security staff. It requires domain expertise and a complex workflow to correlate meaningful use cases, especially for the new and unknown type of attack surface and malicious behavior. When it comes to responding to incidents that require more manual work or a SOAR tool to build workflow and attach to an existing SIEM investment. Imagine all this manual integration, correlation, investigation, and intervention together with talent shortage and skill gap are contributing to a longer mean time to detect and respond, which provide the attacker the advantage to launch a successful attack against the targeted victim. So now we have gone through the threat landscape, the challenges, and the capability needed for an effective SOC operation. Next, I would like to share with you the upcoming Cybereason XDR, how it can help to solve the current challenges and to deliver the OC of the future capability.
In an era when cyber attacks are growing exponentially, defenders can't rely on yesterday's tools to stop tomorrow's attacks. Tools that flood them with alerts, but fail to end the broader malicious operation. Today's defenders know that attacks begin long before the first drop of malware or stolen user accounts. Defenders need to weave across email, mobile devices, laptops, cloud, and more, because that's where attackers hide, in the network seams. The game has changed. Every year, our cyber attack surface grows exponentially. Defenders need a solution that can multiply the speed of detection and response, expand their visibility, and deliver actionable intelligence at planetary scale to predict an attacker's next step and stop it. Cybereason and Google have partnered to deliver it. Google's speed and data scale meets Cybereason's predictive AI that's proven to end malicious operations faster. It's one solution that brings an exponential lift, a 10x improvement to security operations. This is true defense. This is XDR. Predict attacks, respond faster, way faster, and do it at planetary scale. Cybereason XDR, powered by Google Chronicle.
So this is Cybereason XDR, powered by Google Chronicle. The defenders can now predict, detect, and respond to cyber attack at maximum speed and infinite scale. There are three key differentiators that I want to go through here. First is being able to moving from enterprise scale to planetary scale, radically extend your sphere of protection from the enterprise attack surface to everywhere. And this demands a view of data collection and analysis beyond the static EPP, EDR, and a SIEM solution. And working with Google Chronicle, we ingest, normalize, and analyze petabyte of data from the complete IT environment with the planetary scale infrastructure. Second, We want to be able to moving from being alert centric to becoming operation centric, to be able to uncover and end the full attack story across every devices, whether it's from user identity, application, and cloud deployment. Only the ability to see and piece together a malicious operation from a planetary scale of data. And last, moving from reactive response to becoming a predictive response. Reveal the pattern that foretell the future attack and end them before they start. AI-driven protection and response is key to flipping the attacker advantage and taking a preemptive response and doing it fast. And with the Cybereason XDR solution, we are able to deliver a new benchmark that improves security operation by a factor of 10. That means 10 times security event analyzed with out-of-the-box integration, 10 times faster threat hunting and intelligent management with faster time to respond from hour to minute, and 10 times reduction in false positive with productivity boost from unified investigation. So let's talk about each of these capabilities and what it means for your SOC team. First, the explanatory skill of extendability. As we discussed, there is an exponential growth in the attack surface and threat. It is no longer enough simply on the endpoint. You need to be everywhere the threat lives and looking at the data from all those places, cloud workload, identity, log, server, endpoint. They all hold important information that is critical to seeing an attack sooner and more clearly. And you need to analyze petabyte of telemetry and threat intelligence weekly across your growing IT landscape. It is the only way to reveal the full attack story from root cause and to fit your detection capability. Cybereason XDR platform is able of doing this at planetary scale with the power of Google Big Data Platform. If you can't see all the attack surface, you cannot see the attack. So this is the core of the XDR offering, is to taking your entire heterogeneous ecosystem into one big data fabric. In order to facilitate this goal, we have launched Cybereason Connect. So Cybereason Connect hosts our plethora of integration. These APIs allow data to freely flow into Cybereason XDR platform and enable response action to flow back. All of these APIs are made available in a self-service model. So let's look at the demo in order to provide you more clarity. So for example, today, if you want to integrate Microsoft 365, right, especially for the workspace, email, and productivity suite. So all you need to do is to fill all the detail about the tenant, the client information, and also your credential and click connect. And that's it, right? The connector now start pulling data and event as they occur in the Office 365 system. You can do it with your Google G Suite. You can do it for your Firewall or Okta in terms of your identity platform. This is just an example on how easy for you to ingest data via a self-service model in Cybereason Connect. We are constantly adding new security technology from our partner and other vendors to enrich our XDR integration with open cyber security ecosystem across identity, endpoint, workspace, network, and cloud services. Unlike other XDR players, there is no vendor lock-in in this type of open approach. You can always add, maintain, or replace your security solution in according to your organization risk appetite to drive your cyber transformation journey. Now, let's talk about D for detection. We have invented a new approach that we call the operation-centric with our malware detection engine, which is a fundamental shift from the alert-centric approach invented 10 years ago and used by every other player on the market, which is today overburdening security team with noise and inefficiency. Attacks are no longer just a single exploit that should be drive alert after alert. Attacks today are full-scale operation. Our adversaries are organized, well-funded, and patient, creating a full-scale malicious operation that need to be visible to us from a defender perspective. In Cybereason, we provide operational context to dramatically simplify your security process. Not only end attack faster, but create dramatic efficiency within your SOC organization. So you can see here the business value delivered by operation-centric approach comparing to alert-centric approach. For example, the mean time to detect and respond is drastically improved from days to hours and minutes. And the efficiency of one security analyst can support up to 200,000 managed endpoints with the power of AI and automation. So this is the future of XDR. You can visualize and unify malware attack story that allow for complete visibility across your IT stack. So what we are witnessing here is an attack that is traversing through different separate attack vectors in our NAMO environment. We see Microsoft 365 acting as an email medium to deliver a spear phishing. Attacking involving a malicious attachment is being sent to multiple email recipients. And one of the 21 recipients, Sivan Omar, has opened the file and has infected her endpoint. XDR, with its multi-dimension correlation, is able to pull in other behavior related to domain, identity, network access for further investigation. Now, if you're hovering to the other affected victim, we will provide the analyst the full list of recipients and link to each of the user account. You know exactly how many of them are targeted in this malicious campaign. The next step detected by Cybereason EDR is user execution of that exact file on the machine with the same hash value delivered through the email account for Sylvan Omar. The security analyst can easily click on the threat intelligence sources to get file reputation detail on that hash and mark its finding. And the gray circle now highlight the correlation map established by Cybereason XDR across Sylvan Omar email account, her identity, and her endpoint. And her compromised endpoint is now engaging a South Korean host throughout an outbound C2 traffic. And this is identified by Fortinet Firewall and correlated with other activity for Suman and surface here to help security analysts to understand the full scope of the impact. And shortly afterward, we are seeing Okta flag a login attempt from Russia for this US-based account. This is further evidencing the possibility of identity theft involving a user account and the endpoint machine. Okay, next, move to R for predictive response. In this era of ever-increasing technical innovation, we must use the same technology the attackers are using. AI and machine learning are key to moving from a reactive to predictive response model. Once again, this is where Cybereason is changing the conventional approach by inventing something entirely new, the predictive response. Our powerful AI predictive algorithm anticipate attacker intent, and the next step by seamlessly correlating input from the entire cybersecurity ecosystem, combining the endpoint, network, identity, and application telemetry. Our adaptive decision-making engine formulate preventive defense measures in real time to detect and automatically respond to and end malicious activity at early stage of an attack. This is our implementation of defending forward, meeting the enemy where they are in the battlefield and changing the rule before they strike. So Cybereason XDR is able to centralize the response and remediate capability from the right side of the screen within the platform. So it is able to incorporate contextual inline response action that make it possible to expedite the mean time to respond. Here we see option to control and respond to a malicious attachment coming in from the Microsoft Office 365. You can delete the entire message for the remaining user if they haven't opened up the attachment. At the file level, we are able to deploy another set of response action relevant to this. You can add file to block list, kill the malicious process, delete the malware, or even isolate the machine. The activity log allows the collaboration between security analysts and IT team, and is able to log and store information for compliance management. Lastly, the outbound network impact threat is neutralized with an inline response action. You can select block malicious address, isolate the network site, or isolate the infected machine from the network. This is how Cybereason XDR, partnering together with Google, we are introducing a platform that helps you to understand and even predict attack at planetary scale. This is Cybereason XDR, powered by Google 𝐓𝐞, and unified cyber defense platform for delivering the SOC of the future capability. From endpoint protection to the extended attack surface protection via open cyber security ecosystem, to professionally managed security services, including managed detection and response, periodically threat hunting, compromise assessment, and DFIR services. With Cybereason highly effective endpoint solution in place, customers are realizing the increased efficiency, allowing them to expand their SOC intelligence, coverage, and visibility beyond the endpoint. Cybereason makes the extensibility simple to accomplish within our XDR platform, allowing visibility, detection, response across endpoint, identity, workspace, network, cloud, and beyond. With Cybereason XDR, defenders can understand the full scope of the malicious operation, what activity is happening, and how to immediately act on it. By intelligently bridging together a large volume of data across telemetry stack, it eliminates the need for SOC analysts to pivot between multiple tools in order to understand and respond to a malicious operation. Our Cybereason XDR platform also enables Cybereason to lead the industry in the MITRE ATT&CK Enterprise Evaluation 2022 across all categories. This was the best result ever reported in the history of MITRE ATT&CK evaluation. We are outperform other cybersecurity vendors with 100% protection.
Tim.
Yeah.
Afternoon. Sorry to interrupt, but we need to engage our audience.
Okay.
And you're supposed to have a 20-minute presentation only.
Okay, I thought it's 1 hour. Okay, that's fine. Yep, this is to the end, right? And ultimately, for the SOC productivity, as you see, right, one analyst can support up to 200,000 endpoint. So I will not go through all, and this is basically the benefit that you can get. And right, in summary, this is the Cybereason XDR powered by Google 𝐓𝐞, and I'm open up for question. Yep, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you so much, CK. Yeah, just for everyone, no, you might be asking what XDR is. I'm not sure if it was highlighted earlier. It stands for Extended Detection and Response. So maybe I'll start, CK. Today, what's the average data breach cost? Would you know?
Based on the latest research, it's about 1 mil to 5 mil. Really depends on the size of the organization.
Okay, right. And that's in dollars, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So from the data which you have gathered, I'm sure you have visibility, right? So what interesting changes have you seen so far in terms of the nature of attacks today compared to like what 1 or 2 years ago? And from your experience, so how does many companies or organizations adapt to that?
Yeah, I think what we are seeing today are quite different compared to the past few years. And previously, we saw a lot of, we call that APT group. Then normally they do it in silo, they launch the operation. And today we are seeing a lot of collaboration for the underground cyber criminal ecosystem. So for example, if you see one APT group has been busted, and immediately you can see similar members joining other APT group and continue to launch the attack. And at some point, we even see the collaboration of some nation state with the cyber criminal group to launch a malicious operation, whether it's driven by political or from a commercial interest perspective. So right now, is from a defense perspective, it is very difficult to attribute the source of attack, as I mentioned before. And therefore, from a defender perspective, right, especially for those organizations are expanding their attack surface as part of their digitalization, it is very important for them to see the complete visibility so that they can analyze the attribute and what are the attackers they are facing today in order to build up their cyber defense strategy.
We have a question, VP Mia, from the viewers, from Mr. Patrick Sulit.
Okay.
From governance perspective, how frequent do you review playbooks for continuous improvement? And what can you recommend as best practice?
I wouldn't say this is only for government, right? I think playbook is I would say a conventional approach. This is how we define how do we take action. And many of the playbook are, I would say, quite tightly related to a lot of call-related events defined in the SIM. So today, I think we should playbook is important for us to trigger the response, but we should start to leverage the power of AI and machine learning because the attack is become more dynamic, right? They are no longer static, right? Having a machine learning or AI to define from your SOC perspective and tightly link up to your playbook, I think you'll be a lot effective in order to respond a lot faster compared to traditionally you have to review like every 6 months, every year, because the attacks are evolving more constantly than this.
So my question, Jim, is this is a one whole package, no? If so, you maintain the you maintain and update the playbooks. You provide the threat intelligence IOCs or IoT IOCs and IoTs. No? So this is purely subscription, or there is still efforts on the level of the user?
So I think in terms of the concept is, we still expect the organization, they need to subscribe whether to their network security, email security, because we need a solution to be able to generate security telemetry and intelligence. And what we did is taking that telemetry into Cybereason XDR as a big data fabric so that we are using our defender experience, right, on how we are able to deal with malicious operation based on the indication of compromise or the indication of behavior in order to combine into a single story to allow the defender to be able to deal with it more effectively. So commercially, we are charging based on the number of employees of the organization, right, or the number of endpoints to really expand that support across. And you don't have to, for example, immediately onboarding the entire XDR package, right? For organization, depends on their maturity. For example, if today they only have NGAV EDR, they can start with their network security, because I assume most of the organization have a firewall. They can start with endpoint plus network. And when they're moving into, for example, to the identity protection like Okta or Azure ID protection, they can onboard their identity telemetry. When they go to the cloud, they can onboard their cloud trail from AWS, Azure, or Google, so that we will slowly building up maturity and to drive that by phases rather than a one big bang approach.
It's like I mean, in my perspective, I always anticipate the future, no? Especially the future of the technology provider. Like, if I'm gonna put everything in one basket, like I'm gonna have the Cybereason XDR in my environment with the identity manager, etc., etc. And what happens if you guys suddenly, you know, go down in 3 years or in 5 years or even in 8 years? No, it's still gonna happen, right? So it's also very important to establish the long-term and the future of the organization, of the company.
Yep.
Because it is never advisable to have one solutions provider for all, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's very basic. So
Yeah,
how is that protected?
Yeah, I think this is where I think we are looking at it quite differently, right? I think that our SDR approach is not through a native SDR, right? Basically, unlike other SDR players, they expect you to buy their identity security solution, their network security, etc. and extra in order to build the entire SDR platform. So it's like a closed law ecosystem. So what we are working here is we are just at the big data fabric. Our customer have the ability to choose, for example, in the area of network security, they can choose whatever vendor they love, and they only ingested that particular alert or telemetry into our platform, right? For example, in workspace, they can freely choose between Microsoft, Google. In identity, they can go for Azure or Okta, right? This is really an open ecosystem based on the customer need. And what we do is from a defender perspective to take all that information as a big data fabric, working together with Google as one of the largest tech companies in the world to provide that analytic capability, and where Google provide us from an infrastructure perspective, where we add on our, I would say, the proprietary defense algorithm to really drive that potential moving forward, right? In terms of the business continuity, of course, nobody will be saying that what will happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But ultimately, it's important for you to own that particular data, right? In an event, if any company is go bust, you will be able to export your algorithm, your data, your intelligence, so that you can always move to the future candidate that will be able to meet your business continuity need and also in align with your organization risk appetite.
We have another question, VP Mia.
I think, Mr. Chair, this is in relation as well to the first question of Patrick. I think he just wants to clarify that the question really is, how frequent do you update the directory of your AI?
So how frequent do we update our API?
Directory
Is
of
it?
AI.
I think this is, I would say, a constant update, right? Because as of today, we are managing about 12 million endpoint. So whenever we see new indication of compromise or the new indication of behavior, so we will put that into our AI algorithm, right? So that they can constantly learn and adapt and evolve based on the real-time stream of data coming into our intelligence and our operation.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answers the question, Patrick. But there's another question from Che Russell. XDR is excellent, but how can you train personnel to know the vector attacks on their system from the server, firewall, and end user?
Yeah, I think this is very important, right? Traditionally, if you go for a SIEM, right, you will see a lot of alert, and the analysts need to spend a lot of time to piece together all this information for different sources. Today with XDR, especially with our operation-centric approach, we will be able to pull the entire attack story into a visual interface that security analysts will be easy to understand and adapt. And on top of that, we also provide something we call automatic and guided response, so that the defender or analyst can easily follow that instruction, and they can have a close conversation with our SOC analyst in order to drive, I would say, the most reasonable response plan in order to tackle the problem that they are facing. So it's not really to, I would say, replace the existing SOC, but add in as a complementary, so that allow them to do more with less resources.
So many questions are popping up, Mr. Chair.
It's getting more exciting. Eh? The questions are. So, maybe I will throw this question to.
Go ahead, Vice.
So are you saying that the XDR or Cybereason XDR will replace the SIEM, or is this a next generation SIEM?
So I wouldn't say it's a direct replacement, right? I think it really depends on the use cases when organization building up the SIEM, right? I think a lot of organizations are using SIEM for both defense and compliance. And from our XDR, our intention is really focusing from a defense perspective. What we want to deal with is the advanced adversary, because we want to end cyber attack by reversing the adversary advantage. Our initial priority for our XDR roadmap is to really focusing on that, so that we will remove a lot of unnecessary attack and impact, where in the future, potentially, we may also evolve into solving some of these compliance problems. But as of today, our priority is to solve defender problem. And for organization using SIEM for compliance, we may not be able to solve that particular use cases at this point of time.
Thank you.
Right. There's another question from Ding Amar. Does all data needed to be sent to the cloud?
Yes, because we need to leverage the power of Google Cloud Analytics in order to drive that planetary scale of performance.
Where is the aggregator will sit to just send the needed data, and how will that impact the bandwidth?
Yeah, I think many of that API is cloud to cloud, right? If you really see that, right? Let's say, for example, if you're using Office 365 and Cybereason XDR, you will be a cloud to cloud transfer between.
No, from the endpoints. From the endpoints.
But the endpoint is based on your organization memory. And we will be able, the endpoints will also send the data to the cloud. Cybereason. Yeah, if the endpoint are using Cybereason, for example, so you don't have to replicate that. It's the Cybereason to Cybereason internal transfer of that particular endpoint data. I think this is where the beauty is, right? Because endpoint of data is already captured around 80% of the behavioral data, right? The other attack surface is an add-on in order for us to, I would say, enrich that end-to-end detection and respond to really see that big picture across every attack surface. And in terms of the, I would say, the XDR location, because we are partnering with Google, so where Google GCP are operated, then we will be able to spin up an instance. But right now, I think we are primarily focusing in US and Europe. Hopefully by end of the year, we will be extending more aggressively in the Asia Pacific region. So wherever GCP is available, we'll be able to support that deployment as soon as possible based on our customer demand.
There's another question from Emel Ian. The Cybereason's XDR also support mobile, Android, iOS, and Chrome devices, and can Cybereason backend software console be hosted in a virtualized environment?
Yes, I think if you say virtualized is the VMware, yeah. As long as you are operating, I would say we support most of the operating system, right? Including some of the legacy OS that has been supported by some of the vendor, we will be able to support that. And we cover not only the endpoint, right? Our sensor can deploy across major operating system you see today, including mobile devices like iOS, Android, and even to the cloud workload, right? Whether you are running Kubernetes or Azure or whatever, we will be able to see that within a single platform.
Right. Maybe I think he would also be interested to know, virtualized environment, does it pertain to only cloud platform or on premises as well?
You mean for their virtualized
For
environment?
the console, can it be hosted on a virtualized environment on-prem?
For XDR, no, right? Because we need to be able to access the petabyte scale of data. And if you want to host it on-prem, it will be very costly for an organization to drive the cost efficiency of that particular area. However, if the organization, for example, going for our EDR or NGAV, we have an on-prem deployment, right? For those organizations have the localization requirement, we can do that for endpoint, but not for the XDR.
Okay, and it can be any cloud provider, right? Not just Google.
No, it's multiple cloud provider.
Okay.
Also
Go
AWS.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Also with AWS.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
I was gonna ask that question, especially the geographical location of your cloud, right? Because if since we are in the Philippines, and if we're gonna use your cloud, and your cloud is on the other side of the globe, then latency, and there are a lot of issues on different hubs. So will you also be able to strategically deploy your cloud presence that's nearer to wherever your customer is geographically located?
Yeah, that is part of our go-to-market strategy, right? I think our intention is to grow in Asia Pacific together with Google. So I think if there is location where Google already operated, we can spin it up, right? For those locations Google is not operating, then if there is a demand, we can work together with Google to see how we can move that forward.
How dynamic is Cybereason? I mean, there are definitely OS, no, operating systems that are, what you call this, customized, and your solution, your Cybereason, will not be able to run in that customized operating system due to the customization, and you need to redo or develop a version that will work in that customized OS. Are you willing to do that?
Yes, I think right now we have quite a long list of customization OS, right? Whether it's embedded OS, very specific area. So I think it's really in terms of how do we prioritize our resource, right? Because our intention to make sure that we will be able to support all the commercial, I would say, version, right? To make sure that we will be able to solve most of the concern that we have for most of the customer. And in certain cases, if we have a very strong demand, right, we are willing to work with our customer, right, to see how we are able to accelerate that deployment. And in certain cases, if it is really unique, it's really special, and we don't mind to go for maybe core innovation or core investment to see how we are able to address that particular pain point. So I would say, yes, we are willing to explore and discuss in order to see how we will be address the pain point of our customer.
Right, that's recorded. Last question on my end. CK, are you part of sales team, marketing team, or product team?
I am actually my key initiatives, I'm not directly in sales, right? Basically, I am the ambassador for Cybereason and to really promote the brand and also the awareness. And more importantly, because my past experience as a corporate CISO for multinational company, so what I'm advocating is really helping the cybersecurity ecosystem, right, to understand what are the threat landscape we are working with, and what are the, I would say, the mindset change required in order to drive the continuous improvement of the cybersecurity deployment. So I think I'm bringing in my practitioner experience, right, to work with our customer, our prospect, and some of the government entity to drive that discussion, form a cybersecurity capability beyond just the product and services. So I'm looking at the big picture. What are the value? Not only cyber value, but also potentially organization value, business value, in order to make sure that cybersecurity can become a key competitive for our customer so that it can become more sustainable to address the future threat that we are facing today.
You know, I have to comment that I have not seen this role in most of the organizations that I talk to or vendors. No? Most of the time, you get to talk to salespeople, to product people, or marketing people. But this role, you're like doing the evangelist role, coming from your background and having to talk to people based on your experiences. It's a great idea. No?
Yeah.
A great idea. So not just technical person, not a salesperson, not a product person, not a marketing person.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, VP Mia.
Yes, maybe last point, I just want to know if Cybereason has, if you do partnership with the government, to help the, government in terms of informing them of what you're seeing in different countries.
Yes, we do. Yes, definitely. Government is a very important, I would say, partner for us, but not only from a commercial perspective, and we also regularly share intelligence, right, to make sure that if we discover something serious, at least from a regulatory perspective, they are able to know and prepare response plan to protect their organization and their country as well.
Thank you. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to say hello to VP Sheila, who's watching us in Facebook. Hello to Arnold Dava, he's also watching. And Seven Hosting, you're late again, but hello.
Yay!
Yes. Okay, so personally, I really believe in what AI and ML can do, no, not just in the area of cybersecurity, but in providing, great business outcomes for every organization. But I'm really hoping that one day we can really go ahead of the curve, in terms of securing every organization, and most especially our country, our beloved countries. So that's for me, Vice Chair.
Yeah. Oh, talking about taking from your business outcome pitch, no, VP Mia. So I think in your investment in XDR, as mentioned by CK, is about 10x improvement on your defensive capability. So I think that's a lot to justify, as a very good justification, a very compelling value proposition for those still using EDR or antivirus in their environment. XDR is worth your investment. 10x, just remember that. I love the 10x, mindset and approach. So improvement in your defensive capability. And I think mentioned, CK also mentioned about offensive mindset, no? To make it expensive, dangerous, and worthless for our adversaries, no, as defenders. So go XDR.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Chair?
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
just
Yeah,
want
go
to
ahead.
give the opportunity. Yep.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Thank you for taking the time. No? It's always good to listen to an evangelist, not technical, not sales, not marketing, not product person, but evangelist, end-to-end perspective. No? And XDR is definitely something that the world needs. We are hoping that more solutions provider will also follow suit in creating an innovative countermeasures. As we say, we cannot expect a different result by doing things over and over again in the same manner, right? So we welcome innovations, we welcome creativity, we welcome inventions. And to our viewers, Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Again, for this kwentuhang cybersecurity Friday session. So weekend na naman, and gaya ng sabi ng marami, happy weekend. Pero sa cybersecurity, happy lang, walang
weekend.
Weekend.
and CK, thank you very much, and
Thank
see
you,
you soon.
Kay.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Mga
Thank you.
kaibigan.
Bye.
Happy Friday.